think the X is out, so if we go in here and we do like something like that. That was to the right. We just drag it out like this. Maybe we'll get what we want. It flips on us when we switch directions. It's alright, so it's not too bad. So attach to component, follow scale, the offset should be there. This is the effect controller. So let's see, if we go into our effects, we want this thing not to flip. Alright, so locked effect, kill an object dies, follow socket, apply followed scale, apply followed rotation. Alright, so where is set follow rotation? We'll set follow rotation to false. So which direction am I pulling this thing? That's into the background. Okay, so we need to do like -200. Alright, so the other thing we want to do, so if this is true, then what we want to do is we want to get our flipbook, set cast shadow to false on it, I believe. So he won't cast a shadow, he'll just have a drop shadow instead. Yeah, I was gonna say, I doubt Adam is still around. And he's not, so I would just ask his opinion on like, well, is that kind of what you're looking for? Because I think that'll do it. So he can, you know, add whatever geometry he wants to this thing. You know, move it around and do all that. Let's go into a real level and see what it looks like there. Let's go over to that Forest Day map. This will be the old Forest Day map, since I haven't gotten the latest from him. Alright, so we want to go to the arena level and enable drop shadows is true, okay. The lights must be fucked up for my version of this, because I'm not seeing any shadows. Let's jump into maybe the grass. Interesting that I'm not seeing it on some objects. Is that something that has to do with how the drop shadow works? Like this is a movable object that casts shadows. I mean, if we look at these rocks are static, so we're not getting... Are we getting any shadows on those rocks at all? Would be the question. Maybe we just haven't noticed this. So if I like just enable drop shadows to false, are we getting any shadows on the rocks? Yeah, we're not getting jack shit on the... So the static stuff like is not getting shadowed. That's what it looks like. Like we're getting shadows here. Yeah, okay. So it's not our drop shadow that's fucked up. It's our shadows themselves that are totally screwed. Yeah, the light is... It's like the world light, because it's lighting this thing, but it's... But it's only using like the dynamic light to actually create the shadows. So it's like the static baked in light for the mountain isn't going to get anything, because this is where the dynamic light comes in. Alright, well, it makes sense. So I'll just make this by default false. And drop shadow effect is set. Alright, so we got that in there. Where did I even have that? We have scroll bar stuff, relog in, ball color. Drop shadow geometry. Alright, yeah, there it is. Alright, so we got drop shadow geometry. Alright, I'm going to close the editor here because I don't want to save that sunny day level. Okay, the other thing that I've got, I do have a few other things. Let's see. The kick in the air, not hitting the ball properly. Alright, maybe that's something else I can take a look at. So one of the other things that was going wrong is it looked like when we were kicking things in the air that the kick was not doing what we would expect it to do. Like I think this was reported by one person who it's basically it would appear to not hit things, um, but it was hitting it. It just like the force was all screwed up and didn't work. Well, can't seem to get it to do what I saw before. Where you basically jump into the ball and it wouldn't register a hit. I don't know. Why don't we just look at the code for it and see if there's anything that jumps out in the code that's just wrong. So this is going to be the low hit active. So we've got, we're going to get the current velocity. We will enable a ground slide effect. If we're, alright, whatever. We get our bounds, our hit location center, repulse location. Is the repulse even? Enable low hit reflection is false. It's probably that I disabled the low hit reflection and that's what's not fucking it up anymore. It was probably doing a reflect because it was colliding inside of it. Alright, so we're going to grab the center location, minus this, normalize it, break this apart to see if we're hitting it left or right. Grab the X and the Y. The Z direction is going to be up. If we're on the ground, Otherwise, the hit direction Z is that Z. If the hit direction is the same sign as the Y, then it's a reflect. So we do a reflect, otherwise we do just the same stuff that we've always done. We're using hit direction. Yeah, so I think it was that the reflect ball code was screwed up, and that's what was going on, which is totally what I would imagine we would probably have. Okay, so I'm gonna count that one as fixed by removing the reflection. Alright, so the next thing was the ball position updates. We're going to see if there's anything we could take a look at to maybe increase the rate at which we're sending ball position updates. So how the ball works is we've got this static mesh which is ticking every so often, whatever, and in our update we are setting our velocities and all this crap. What is the Brackensack ball? Like object actor. So everything's inside of this thing. So we switch from client to server side based on stuff. So where is our replication? We have like physics. Alright, so if we have authority, then we do stuff. Otherwise, we get our ping, we set our current ping on our object, set our physics layer velocity. So I'm trying to figure out where in the hell I'm actually doing the interpolation stuff. And it doesn't look like it's anywhere in here. Is it inside of the static mesh? It's been too damn long since I've looked at this code. Alright. It's in here somewhere. Like, Alright, that's the add hit list. Turn threshold, fat sack under controlled velocity. I am totally lost. Okay, so it's inside of the object actor. Alright, so that's where everything is. So it's kind of hard coded, is what it looks like. So what we've got is post net receive physics state. So it's a physics object actor. So let's see where this is called from. Okay, so on replicated movement, postnet receive physics state, postnet receive velocity, and location. Okay. Attachment controls. Okay, so it's going to be the. We're going to grab the root primitive component. Alright, so it's this replicated movement on the actor. Yeah, okay, so actor.h. Alright, replicated movement for position and velocity is what we got. So on replicated movement, category replication, advanced display. So if we want to change how often this thing is replicated, is that going to be an actor.cpp? Do rep actor override replicated movement. Alright. Set real replicated movement, increase speed of updates. Alright, so variable replication, C++, collecting variables and updating changes. Alright, so an actor is replicated when you consider actor property replication. Unreal will automatically replicate U properties. When they're replicated, get lifetime props, doing this, blah. getting an event when your property is replicated. Reliable versus unreliable. Rails concept. Yeah, yeah, I'm not really sure. This is kind of annoying. I'm not finding what I want for property, replication, rate, unreal. Property, replication. Alright. Actors will observe a maximum update frequency set in their net update frequency variable. By reducing this variable, unless important, network can be made more efficient. Common update frequency values are 10, updating every 10th of a second for important unpredictable actors. 5. Alright, so it's our replication frequency, how often per second this will be considered for replication used to determine next update time. Min net priority. Okay, so update frequency. Alright, we're not doing anything with this. How often will be considered for replication used to determine next update time. Alright, so this thing should just replicate every time we can. Net priority should be like 100. Alright, so let's put that up and see if there's any difference appreciably with this thing. Alright, I don't see any difference, so I guess I'll just try to leave them at the higher values. So the next thing would be, what's the server's frame rate? So let's look that up. So the Unreal server frame rate configuration. How to change FPS clip near cap. Alright. Alright, so of course you search for get dedicated server, you don't get jack shit. So let's see. Frame rate's not here. Initial average frame rate. Smooth frame rate range, min desired frame rate 35, max substeps. So let's see. Server frame rate, Unreal config. Lock, performance profiling. How do you set up a server? Turn off FPS, improve frame rate. Alright, well, let's just go to dedicated server Unreal. Let's just see if there's anything. So download, set up source, set up Unreal Engine. Yeah, okay, that doesn't matter. Dedicated server tick rate Unreal. Maybe that'll do it. Dedicated server tick rate. Alright. Hello, is there a way to limit dedicated server max tick rate? Net server max tick rate in default engine.ini. Alright, there we go. Well, we probably want it to tick more than that, to be honest. So why don't we double check that this actually gets loaded in to start with. And let's just boot it along at 100. How about that? Server travel pause. Relevant timeout. Max internet client rate. Alright, so we have our net driver here actually already, so dedicated server max tick rate at 60. Well, let's just bump it up to 100 and see what we can do with that. It's nice to look at these things and see that I've already done them, I just forgot. So we'll see what this says when we get that loaded. So put this up, we should get a breakpoint there for our tick rate, and we didn't. Okay, so that should work. We've got it all sorted, I believe. I'm actually going to go ahead and print out a few of these things here, just so I can double check things when we're actually on the server. To do document. Yeah, good job, guys. Alright, double check send rates is what we've been doing. Let's just make sure it works. So we'll just boot this up, see what it does. And I think I'm going to be done here for the day within not too long. I'm kind of out of it. And we've been up for 5 hours, so it's not too bad. It's pretty good. Fixed a whole bunch of crap. Figured out our big risk, which was transitioning levels, and since that's now a known quantity, we're not in risk management land. So let's make sure that our dedicated server actually boots up. So run dedicated server. Yeah, there we go. So let's take a look. Alright, so I want to look at the saved logs. So we're going to look for the max tick rate. Max tick rate is 100. Timeouts allowed. Totally works. Alright. Excellent. Very good, that works. Alright, and our drop shadow stuff is off by default. Good. And everything else is good. Alright, so I think I'm going to be done for today. Alright, so I'll just write down what I did. Add drop shadows. Look over network optimization. Increase server frame rate. Or ball tick rate. And let's see, level specific overrides for emissive on ball, level specific overrides for hits, ball, and physics. Do we have level specific overrides on the ball friction stuff? Yeah, we just have a multiplier, which is fine, so we're not really going to be worried about that. Then we added the leaves, wood, etc. physics layers, layer types for the forest map. So that's good. So I think that's about it. Now the question is, if people want to go watch somebody similar, who would they watch? I don't know. The hell with it. Well, thanks for sticking around. I'm gonna call it done for today. I think we got a lot done, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'll probably be back on tomorrow, and we'll be working on the voting system. So all this stupid crap for how we're going to be voting for the next map and the configuration for that map and everything else. So we've pretty much got tried to nail down some of the bugs and fix some of that crap. The only other thing I could do right now would be like the email templating crap for sending everybody in the giant mailing list an email. Like, we've got everybody who has signed up for the beta, right? And we kind of want to tell them that, you know, hey, we're coming out with an update. You know, it'd be a good idea. You know, they signed up, they gave us our email and said they're interested. We should tell them, hey, there's an update, and that, you know, we'll be sending out codes to people who sign up and are in chat. So let me just see how many people are signed up at the moment. That's pretty funny. We've sent out more codes than people who have actually signed up to receive emails. But should be good. So why don't I just switch over to that, just do some of that stuff so I can feel good about it. This is going to be creating a mass email template tool for Brackensag. So we're going to shut down Unreal boot up our server stuff. Alright, so tools. This will be a marketing tool. Yes, good morning. I am awake. Actually, I'm kind of asleep. Mass email. Alright, this should be beta interest send tool. So what we're going to do with this thing is we're going to be sending out emails to the beta invite, or the people who signed up, and we want to customize this for each of them so they all get their own individualized email that says their name and all that, right? Okay, so we want the entitlement, redemptions and codes. No, we don't care. We want the template, we want the string, we want the header. All right. And I also want a bool here. We'll actually get the arg here. Actually send. And we're going to set that to false. That's one of the problems with email tools, is you got to verify stuff, because as soon as you start actually sending emails, people get really pissed off if you send them a whole bunch of stuff that they don't want. Like, a good example of that was back on Dragon Age Legends. I was in charge of implementing a welcome email sender thing that was supposed to basically 24 hours after you signed up, it would say, hey, you know, welcome, and here's like a free code for some stuff. Except I made it really bad. Basically, I was checking SQS, which is this queue system, to see which emails I still needed to send, and then it would then send those emails. The problem was SQS and some of these other things, how they work. When you take a message off of this queue, you have a certain amount of time before it becomes available to other consumers of the queue, and also if you kind of have a period of time there where if you time out when grabbing this message off of the queue, you can't delete it. So what ended up happening was the email and delete stuff took so long, and we had so much stuff in the queue that it would send all the emails gladly, but it wouldn't actually be able to remove anything from the queue. So it was like the same 1,000 people, and this thing just kept sending the same 1,000 people a new email like every 10 minutes. So you might see how that would get really goddamn annoying for customers, and how they would absolutely hate that, and how we shut it off really fast. I think this is our only entitlement email, so this will be emails, this will be beta, and let's do, this will be update 2 template.html and update 2 template.txt. So let's see what this looks like. I think it's going to be just Congratulations and welcome to beta access. Alright, what should this say? This should say something like we are releasing our second update on 127. Just do some flavor text. We've been hard at work, and our second update is currently in, and our second update is coming down the pipe. So we want like, what is it? UL is like unordered list, and then it's like LI for list item. Here's a list of new features. Here is what to expect. We have customers can host their own dedicated servers. Servers will now go through a playlist of multiple maps and game modes. Forest level, a brand new level, Spoopy Forest. Alright. Lots of bug fixes.